Hi everyone, Bandanner here. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to our channel and welcome to this preview of the Nemesis 2 DLC. Before we hop into looking at the two new divisions and the official map from Eugen, I just wanted to take a moment to thank a Wooden Box for the hard work he's put into creating this map of Plateau de Albion. Obviously we're not getting an official map of this locale, but a Wooden Box has been working on this. He's still updating this one and making a bigger version as well, but this is what I did my little cinematic on, which was kind of to show off the map because I think it's a really nicely designed map. It is like for like an attempt at the original Plateau de Albion, and you can check that on Google Maps and stuff. It is very similar. He's done a very good job. I hope you enjoyed the little cinematic. Let's head in and take a look at the 152nd Division d'Infantry. So, without further ado, let's get into the Nemesis 2 work in progress build. I would like to take a little look through both the divisions, and then we'll take a look at the end at the new Stoneware map, which is also going to be released as part of this update. I wasn't sure if that was coming with Northag, but they have decided to release it now. So, good news for everybody, because it looks like a really cool map. But let's start with the 152nd Division d'Infantry. These guys are the ones defending Plateau de Albion, and they don't have much heavy gear, but they will get some support from the Navy. So, little bits and pieces coming in there. In logistics, you got your standard, pretty much exactly the same as you get elsewhere, spread. So you got the TRM 2000, we got the Alouette in command variant, nothing too special. Got a TRM 10,000 logistics, big chunky boy. We've got an M201 command, little Jeep. I always think it's weird that the stealth on this is mediocre, because it's tiny. I mean, there's not much there at all, is there? It might as well not have the little roof, or fabric roof over the top. It's that small. VAB command, standard affair, and of course a supply depot. I mean, we don't get to see it, but we know what it is. Infantry, interesting mix, not a lot of anything. So, one set of the 7.62 machine guns, and another set, but from a different division, or different grouping. Privote, pretty standard affair. Now, we do have the Masuins. Am I pronouncing that right? I can't remember how to pronounce it now. It's French. Nobody cares. I'm going to get abuse from the Eugen devs for that. These guys, nothing special. They got the smoke grenades. Throwing smoke grenades. And they got the FAMAS. So yes, smoke grenades. Then we got these guys, full weapon slots. We've got FAMAS, we've got an ANF1, we've got an FRF1 sniper rifle, and we've got some anti-tank LRACs. Quite a chunky squad again. 10 man. Then we've got the APLAS version, so FAMAS and AANF1 machine gun and an APLAS launcher, so not full weapon slots there. And then we've got basically a 2-man 12.7mm machine gun team, heavy machine gun. Again, you know, you got one card of all of these things, so it's not a lot. Reservists, obviously these guys coming with the reservist trait as well, so bear that in mind. And they're not going to be, well, you can obviously rank up the command, but, you know, it's neither here nor there. So, command squad, 6-man command squad, which isn't terrible. It's nice to have a bit of a chunky command squad. Nothing exciting on the weapons there. Got the reservists with the LRAC, so 4 weapon slots again. Fair enough. Submachine gun, battle rifle, medium machine gun, anti-tank. Standard reservists with the FAMAS and the ANF1, and then we've got these guys. The Gendarmes de l'Air. I mean, I'm loving this hat, can I just say. His face doesn't look right, but I love the hat. I don't know what it is, but I've zoomed in on a few characters in this version. I don't know why, but things look weird on them. I'll show you when we get there. Anyhow, nothing quite special there. No anti-tank, for example, on that squad. Then we got Sappers Command. We got standard Sappers with demolition charges. And then we got the Sappers Flam. I always like the flamethrower guys, but again, one card of each. One card of the M40, one card of Milan 1, and one card of Milan 2. So we're not getting anything special here in terms of availability. It's pretty bog standard. And then we do get the Commandos de l'Air. Obviously, they're going to be our best squad by far. You do get 2 cards, but there are only 4. Or you can have them come as elite and get 2. I don't think that's worth it. FAMAS, Mini Power, the Mini-Me. We love the Mini-Me. That's been good in Wargame and this game. The FIF2. And then the Wasp. Don't know much about the Wasp, but there you go. It is there. Not particularly exciting in terms of penetration. Otherwise, decent squad. Not convinced by the Wasp, though. Anyhow, artillery tab. So, 81mm mortar and 120mm mortar. Then we've got this thing. 105mm. Looks old. And then you've got this thing which looks... This looks like a cannon from medieval times. I mean, look at the back of it. Look at it. 155mm artillery piece. But it just the design and the size at the back. It looks just like a cannon from medieval times, doesn't it? Or like what you would find on a ship. I quite like it as a design, funnily enough, but it looks old. Okay. Tank tab. As you would imagine, there's nothing here. So, we've got the Milan 1 and the Milan 2 on various vehicles. Jeeps, basically, but... We've got the AMX 13/90. We've got the AML 90 Command and the AML 90. Which looks very top-heavy, doesn't it? Looks like something we would make in the UK rather than the French. And then the VAB with some Hot 2s. So you don't have any tanks, really. Can you call that a tank? At a push, maybe. Recon. Reservists, Recon. Nothing special there. LRAC 73, so really basic anti-tank. Then we've got the... Masuins, Eclairs, so more Recon. They come in a VAB or a Super Puma. I'm not sure I would. Maybe the VAB, maybe, for the gun. They do have, however, decent equipment. So they've got the SIG, they've got 2 Mini-Me's, they've got the A-Pelas, and they've got a smoke grenade. So they're well equipped. They're pretty well equipped. Then we got these guys, the Tier Delete, FAMAS, and an FRF2 sniper rifle. Recon team. And they are forward deployable, obviously. The Recon chopper, no weapons on that. We have the AML 60. Nothing particularly exciting there. The AML 90 in Recon. We have this Recon plane, the CM-170 Magister. I have noticed, and I think this is probably part of the work in progress thing, but a few things just seem to be slightly in the ground, which I haven't noticed before. So like the jet wheels, very slightly. I don't know if that's always been the case, but I noticed it today, so I think it's new. And then the EBR-90. I find this a really fun vehicle for the fact that it's got these middle wheels that are, I assume, metal all the way through. I quite like those. I guess it's like in lieu of tracks. I like the design idea. I don't know how well it works, but I like the design idea. It looks very sci-fi. Anti-air tab, pretty sparse. 40mm cannon. A 20mm cannon. The TRM 2000, we're used to this, we've seen it plenty of times. This is new. So, Sebera. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a 7.6 T2 20mm. Obviously, it comes with its wheels and then you deploy it. I really like the green on this. Looks like something you would paint a little model if you were doing airfix or something. For anyone not in the UK who doesn't know what airfix is, that's like, you know, when you get those plastic plane models that you put together. That's what airfix is one of the brands in the UK. The Mistral, obviously. And the Crytail. There you go. It looks ugly as sin. What an ugly, ugly unit. But should be pretty effective. I don't remember it looking this ugly in the past, but that is how it looks when you Google it. So there you go. Helicopter tab. I mean, I quite like the Alouette 3 having a load of AS-11s. It looks weirdly nasty, considering it's just a ball of glass. Little 20mm machine gun. Autocannon, even. And then the Puma Pirate, obviously again with the 20mm. Nothing too exciting in that tab, but we weren't expecting anything exciting. Air tab, a little bit better. We've got the anti-tank version of this jet, with that AS-11 again. We've got an Alpha Jet Napalm, and HE variant. Got a Crusader, with the Magic 2 missile. And we got this Crusader, which does have a nice long range R530, at least reasonably long range. The Mirage 3E, again with a nice long range missile and a Magic. Then we've got the Supers. We've got a rocket variant, AT variant, cluster variant, and the HE variant. Plenty of options here, all coming in at quite a chunky price, except for the rocket variant. So, careful consideration, considering you can have the Alpha Jet, and yes, it's nowhere near as good a jet, but it has quite a few bombs. Granted, they are smaller. But, you know, the Napalm one is... That's really cheap, actually. It feels cheap. Does that not feel really cheap? The prices aren't finalized. They may change this stuff, so just stuff to bear in mind. But there we go. That is the 152nd Division to Infantry. Lots of light stuff. Very limited in terms of how much of each thing you can take. Most things are a single card, you will note, all the way through. There's a few that have 2 cards in some areas because, well, they need to be able to fill stuff out. But otherwise, you know, some of the better stuff is single card only. A good example is this lot, you know, the Mistral. Probably one of the best things there. It's a single card. So, you are quite limited. An aircraft the same, you know, single card of most stuff. So, you're going to have to pick and choose carefully. You're not going to be able to double stack a lot of things. Let's move on and have a look at the 76th. It's an airborne division. It's light. It doesn't have any heavy equipment. So, you know, compared to the 152nd, maybe slightly heavier in places. But you'll notice straight away it has no helicopters. So, watch this space. First up, the LUAZ. It's a boat. It's a boat. It's a boat. There's nothing else to mention about it, right? It's a boat. Pretending to be a little Jeep. We've got the GAZ 66. No stranger to us, it's on the 35th. The BMD 1KSH Command. It is also in the 35th. We've got the BMD 2K. Again, also in the 35th. Nice command vehicle. Very well equipped. But obviously coming at a price premium compared to the non-equipped one. You know, I like this one for the weapon, so I'd probably consider taking it. And then we have the little boat with a ridiculous roof on it. It just looks so silly. Okay, infantry for the 76th. Lots more in terms of multi-card options for the 76th compared to the 152nd, and everything is forward deployable. No exceptions. So we've got the PKM squad. We've got the 12.7mm squad, which I'm very worried about these guys. This guy's holding nothing. I don't know why we're so zoomed in on this unit. I can't zoom out very far. And I just noticed the hands, and I've never really noticed the hands before. But this guy's just holding on to nothing. I suppose he's trying to hold on to the machine gun, but his arms aren't long enough. And then what the hell happened to this poor guy? Look at his hands. This one's not so bad, but what the heck happened to this one? It's twisted in on itself. I mean, you can't... Can you see it there? It's like back over and in itself almost. What the hell? Poor guy. That can't be pleasant. Then we've got the 30mm grenade launcher. Sapri Commander. Little 4-man squad. Standard Sapri with satchel charges and the Sapri RPO. A lot of this is going to be very familiar if you play the 35th. Command squad, again, this time with an Igla and a smoke grenade, also available to the 35th. BMD squad can come in a Gaz or a BMD2. Obviously, nicely equipped. AKS-74, RPK-74, the RPG-7VL, pretty good penetration, and an SVD. I think that's a good squad. Again, available at the 35th as well, though. Desniki, again, we've seen them before. Really great penetration on the RPG-7VR. Then we've got these guys, which are new. The Usilini, which obviously can come in the BTRD, and they will get a bonus for coming in that. You'll notice they get their little linking symbol. IFV Infantry. So, pretty well equipped here, and interestingly, 2 different types of anti-tank launchers. They have the RPG-22, and they get the RPG-7VL. It'll be interesting to see how they work together. And of course, the Metis. Poor Metis. The Metis and the Dragon, I don't know. Since they've had their range reduced, I think they still have their uses, but they're not a must-have anymore, I don't think. I don't know what other people would say, but yeah. SPG-9 vehicle, pretty commonplace in a lot of divisions. I like the fact it's got a handle on the front where the driver is. I also feel like the driver is going to be injured by that at some point. Pullmets, always a fun squad. Again, available to the 35th as well. SPG-9 squad, ATGM squad, and the Conquer squad. And the Spetsgrupper, which are new. The Spetsgrupper are a 10-man squad. With the AKS-74U, the PKM times 2, the RPG-27 with massive penetration, and some satchel charges. Nice squad. Come in a stack of 4. Special Forces, obviously. Lots and lots of options. And multiple stacks of various options, so plenty of ways to play this one. Artillery tab, a little bit more limited, so we've got the 82mm, we've got the Vasilik, we have the Nona, pretty commonplace, we see that in a few divisions, and then we have the Little Grad. So, pretty sparse. It is an air assault division, so we're not really expecting too much heavy artillery, are we? Tank tab, as you might expect, pretty abysmal. We have ATGM Jeep, we have the Conkers BRDM2, and we have the brand new BMD3. You don't get many of them, but you can take up to 3 cards. So you can technically end up with quite a few. That's 18, it's not bad, as long as you don't rank them up. But of course, it only has an autocannon. It's not like the BMP3 with a cannon and an autocannon. But it gets a Conquer's M, you know, it's well equipped. It's got the grenade launcher, it's got 2 machine. It's well equipped, it's not bad. But it's only got 3 front armor, so it's going to die quickly. Recon tab, Riostat, BRDM2, got the Razvedka in there. We've got the Spets Razvedka, which are new. Got the Igla and the RPG-22, which is nice, and they can come in the Razvedka BTRD, which is new to this division, with the AGS-17 grenade launcher and a couple of machine guns. Reasonably well equipped. I definitely think that's an option, especially considering that's Recon as well. The Arty Tanks. Nothing special about those, really. 3-man squad. They do have this new SIGINT capability, though. So, watch this space. Spetsnaz GRU. Really nice squad, as ever. They have their ground surveillance radar. I think they're still a must-have for me. I really like the Spetsnaz GRU, even. The Schmel, which, can I just say, out of all of the things that you see in these games, doesn't that just look Soviet? The design, the shape, everything about it just screams Soviet to me. It's like what you see in all the movies in terms of spacecraft and stuff like that. Very Soviet design. I like it. It feels like something. It feels like well, it is a museum piece, I guess, but it feels like one. The Razvedka BMD-3. So, same again, but with Recon this time. So technically, you can end up with 22 of these things on the field, which is quite a few of them. If you take all 18 in the tank tab and then the 4 you get here. Anti-air tab, pretty abysmal. Possibly considerably even worse than the 152nd. So you get the ZU-23-2, we get some Iglas, at least you get 2 cards of those. Strela, nothing particularly special there, is it? And then the ZU-23 on a truck. I mean, Iglas, I'm just going to take both of those and move on with my life, probably take the Strela as well. Okay, there's something we said, the guns aren't terrible, but I'd rather have the Igla. And there's no helicopter tab, it's gone, nothing there. No, moving on. Okay, so air tab. The Su-24MP. This is your electronic warfare jet. We got a seed with a tasty seed 28 pen. Just melt stuff into the words. But they're all really high pen, the seed ones. Su-24 laser guided bombers. That's going to do some serious damage. The AT and the AT2. So the KH-29T, 30 pen, 37500 range, and then the KH-29L, 30 pen, 4225 range. The salient difference being this one is fire and forget. This one needs to be guided in because it's semi-active radar. So, you know, there's a penalty for having fire and forget is the range is shorter. So, choices. You will note, though, that the accuracy is the same. Su-24M HE bomber, 8 500kg bombs, pretty tasty. It's going to do some damage when it hits an area. MiG-31, 12k range, R-33 anti-air missile, very nice. And the MiG-31 AA2, 12k range, R-33 missile. I mean, this is what you want this for, right? We're not taking the MiG-31 for an RM60. That one's obviously better because technically it's getting 2 longish range missiles. What? Hang on a minute. Why are these things the same price? I feel like that one I know it's got 2 missiles less in this slot. But the range is so much better. I feel like the MiG-31 AA1 should cost slightly more than the MiG-31 AA2. Thoughts in the comments, please. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Su-24M TRM. This is the new toy. So this is the thermobaric bombs. I'll just zoom in on them as best we can. So we'll test those out in game. We'll get there. But yeah, I feel like they're going to be quite nasty. So, that's the 76th. Great infantry. Pretty decent air tab. No helicopters. Crap AA in the grand scheme of things. Recon's alright. Tank tab. I mean, BMD3s. Artillery tab's pretty mediocre. Logistics is meh. Of the 2 divisions, I think the 152nd has slightly better stuff overall, but I think you can have more choice what you take in the 76 because there's more cards with multiple stacks. So I don't know. I think they're both lacking a lot, so it'll be interesting to see how people play them in 1v1 ranked if they make it that far. But we'll see. But I do think they have some interesting gear in both. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they play out in ranked. Especially this one. I feel like, of the two, this one feels slightly weaker overall. I don't know. Just because the 152nd has the slightly better anti-air tab to be able to deal with the aircraft from the 76th. If they were going head-to-head, you know? Okay, anyhow, we've looked at both the divisions. I'm not going to go into any detail other than we've had a look through them. Let's have a look at Stoneware, the brand new map. Alright, let's have a look at Stoneware properly now. So, just having a quick look around. I think the best place to start is over here. I really like this side of the map with the quarries. Just in terms of the aesthetics, I mean, it's very nice, isn't it? So I think if you watch my devlog video, I mentioned that as a child, my father worked in Germany. And we spent summers there and holidays there and stuff. And near the place we stayed, there was a repurposed, specifically repurposed, old quarry that had been designated as safe for swimming and sailing. Please do not go swimming or sailing in a random flooded quarry. It is extremely dangerous. People do die in them on a fairly regular basis. It's quite often in the news, so please don't go swimming in quarries unless it is a specifically designated safe area to swim. A lot of them have dangerous chemicals in and stuff. But I really love the design. Just the topography, the layers, the leveling. It looks really nice. Really, really nice. Some maps are just very nice to look at. And I know they don't necessarily mean that they're good to play on, but it is nice when you have something pretty to look at as well. You got a couple of pools up here, or ponds. Are they lakes? I don't think so. They're a bit small to be lakes, aren't they? We've got a good amount of trucks and things knocking around. I really like the detail that they're putting into these maps. We've got another little area. Industrial zone here. Little logistics truck there. Again, a bit more industrial. Lots of pipes and pumps in the water and stuff. Over the other side, we've got a couple of ponds. Nothing too special. I mean, the really pretty stuff is obviously, as noted, at this side. But I think it looks very nice, especially this side. Now, what I like about this side in terms of gameplay is this point here, Jot. So this, I think it's just a really nice map design in terms of a point where you have to access it from weird angles. I'm very used to going in and in, you know, from my end to their end, you know, from side to side of the map. This one is just a slightly weird angle. So you're both coming in from different positions to slip in. There's another map with something similar on it. My mind's gone blank on the name, but there is another map with something similar. But I really like this. It's just, you know, the access to it is different. It means you have to think differently about it. So we got 2 points at the back here. So Ivan and Paul. Loads of tree lines between them. I mean, this is Lathan's nightmare. He hates massive blocks of trees. So I really want him to play on this map and hear him re. Jot, obviously, as I say, I really like this position. It's got some buildings in there. Not too much cover other than the buildings. That's going to be a fun fight. Then we've got Gregory and Leonid here. So Gregory, plenty of buildings in there. A little bit of cover from the trees. Buildings up here. I like there's lots of tree lines going through the middle of the map. But, you know, you're going to be visible through some of them. I like the design aspect of that. A little bit of an industrial area, obviously here. Plenty of buildings, warehouses. Nothing that's going to allow you to have a massive line of sight, though. So, I guess you want to be in this one to be able to shoot down this way. But there's plenty of cover from the trees. I quite like these points. They're going to be interesting to attack. Because you can run up to them with the trees as cover. Perhaps even more so Leonid because the chunk of trees there is bigger. Fedor in the middle, nice big point. Trees and buildings at both sides to hide commands in. I mean, it's a big chunky point, that, isn't it? There's going to be a lot of fighting there, one way or the other. Then this side of the map, I'm going to spin us around slightly. Olga, yeah, it's going to be to the person who's at that side. Elena's going to go to the person at this side. Dmitry, there's going to be some fighting over. Again, we've got plenty of buildings in here. We've got a couple of sort of, not high rises, but medium rises. Can we call those medium rises? It's not the most exciting point. I think it's going to be a bit of a grind fest in terms of infantry in the buildings, but you're going to have lots of firing solutions from outside. I just think that's going to get flattened by artillery. Again, industrial area, slight industrial area / farm area. The two back points, I can imagine someone pushing through, but I can't imagine it's going to be too common. I think the more interesting thing here will be people pushing either from Fedor into Olga or Olga into Fedor. I think there's going to be, between these 3 points here, I think there's going to be some skirmishing because they all feel close together. Gregory's just a smidge further away, and I can imagine there's going to be fighting because there's this little town here. So I think we're going to see people pushing in and holding this and going between these two. That might work out for some interesting fighting in this area, I think. This could easily go one way or the other and then be a hell of a grind fest in the towns. Then this far side, we've got Center, we've got Boris, and we've got Anna. Built up little towny areas. Fighting over Boris, probably. There's plenty of scope to get around the back in these tree lines. What I'm sat here thinking to myself is, I'm not convinced that there's going to be a huge... There might be a lot of fighting at this side. There might be. I feel like it's going to be more skirmishing. I really feel like the big fights are going to be over here. In the middle here, between these points. And then I think there'll be a lot of skirmishing over Jot. I think it's important to note as well, all the points on this map are worth 2 points. So there's no discrimination. There's no 1 point. Everything is worth 2 points. It's not like you're going for the one that's 3 points. Or the one that's 2 points when all the others are 1. So I think in terms of points, it's quite an even spread. So it's going to be battles around areas that are close together and easier to manage. And I just feel like this area here is going to be a hot spot. But we will see. But nice map design. I like there's plenty of tree lines and cover between the points. Not too much, but enough just to, you know, squeeze up and stuff. A little bit more at this side. And I really love the design on the map here. I really love these quarries, and I really like this point. And I'll be sad if it's boring to fight over. I'm envisaging it being fun. The only thing I find a tiny bit weird is the fact that it jots out here. I guess that's to make it fairer on whoever's at that side, because this corner is kind of closer to the spawn. I feel like if you're spawning at this side and you have forward deployment, it feels like... I think the distances are probably similar, but it looks and feels like you'll be in a better position. If you see what I mean. I think Fedor's pretty central. I think it's just a psychological thing. I don't know. I feel like it's slightly more that way. Hang on. If I put down... So, Fedor is exactly the circle away. Yeah, look. I'm not completely crazy. Fedor is closer to this side. Just slightly. Just slightly, but it's enough that if you had forward deployment at this side, you could be in a very nice position in Fedor very early on. That's interesting. Hang on. So Jot is a similar distance as Fedor. It's like one circle away, where obviously at this side, nowhere near one circle away. I feel like this side is going to be in a good position if they get forward deployment units. They're going to be able to lock down Jot and Fedor pretty early. And Jot's going to be a pain to get into, isn't it? Because this isn't tree line. This is just bushes. And I do wish they would change the bushes to be a different colour. Wishful thinking on my part. Tree lines and bushes are easy to confuse. Because look here. Tree line, bushes. But they kind of merge. They're very, very similar colour. I wish they were like yellow. I realise that might look silly in terms of realism. But for the sake of gameplay, I wish they were slightly different. But alas, it is what it is. Nice map design. Wondering if it's going to be slightly slanted towards this side that I'm currently on. We will see. Looking forward to playing it a bit in multiplayer with people. There you go. That is Nemesis 2, which is coming out, fingers crossed, sometime this week. I hope you're all looking forward to the new divisions and the release of this new map. I'm a big fan of getting new maps to play. Above all else, I think it just adds a bit of variety when you get new maps and new ways to attack and defend. But we will see how it goes. Thank you very much for watching. Please do, as ever, like, share, subscribe. Remember to check out Wooden Box's maps on the workshop. And also check out his channel on YouTube. He makes some fantastic maps. He spent a lot of time working with the devs on the editor and giving them feedback and stuff. So give him some love over there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all soon.